Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the buy, sells, and dividends for the week, which is the 7th of July through the 13th of July. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so we're going to start out with the M1 Finance here. We're going to go over these dividends first. And I'm also going to show you guys the portfolio as well as the trades for the week. So let's go ahead and get into it. We got 86.47 on July 8th. So this is NVIDIA. OARC 460. Again, a lot of these are on July 8th. TSLY, I'm not sure why this is a split payment, but it's 56.95 and 218.76. As you guys know, Tesla has been on a rocket ship to the upside. Now Elon Musk apparently and Tesla are talking about robo-taxis, so you already know that's going to be a big deal. I don't think I really need to say much of anything more about that. So again, July 8th, TLTW 228, NVDY. Once again, I'm not sure why this is a split payment, but 165. 1 cent from Philip Morris International, 69 cents from Appley. And then we have 586 from MPW and 19 cents from BITO. So now I'm going to go ahead and go into the trading tab, show you guys a few trades that was taken this week. So July 8th here, as you guys can see, sold out of RIV, bought a little bit of ACP. So basically the way that this strategy works, and this is with both dividend portfolios, is if something's in profit, we will take the profit off of the position and plus 5% of the initial capital out of that particular trade. So we're basically scaling out a little bit, okay, as this thing goes up. So we'll take the 5% initial capital plus the profit and we'll move it into something else that's below our cost basis. So we take profit plus a little off the top for anything above the cost basis, move that to something below the cost basis, and then the 95% of the initial capital that we have left over will reposition back into the position, in this case RIV, that we took profit on. So that's how this works. So then going back to the 9th here, you guys can see that we did indeed buy back in 95% of RIV. And then going over to July 12th, you can see that basically I sold out of EFC here. And I do like EFC a lot. It's not as high yielding as like some of the yield max ETFs and stuff like that. But EFC is also available on Robinhood. So what I decided to do is I'm going to transfer that money from M1 Finance to Robinhood, get the 2x leverage, and then reposition basically, I'm thinking probably basically the same amount back into EFC and then put the other half into something else to produce more income. So that's what the trades are for the week. Now going over here to the portfolio. Again, it's kind of going to look like a crap show over here because there's a lot of positions that are unfortunately down a lot actually because of, quite simply put, the Fed tightening rates because, I mean, bottom line, the Fed can only have their rate hikes at all-time highs for so long before eventually the pricing power of companies has to cave because that's just kind of how it works. So I'm not saying bad things are going to happen, but that's generally what happens when the Fed keeps the rate hikes higher for too long. So Tesla, you guys can see that our total return is getting closer and closer to break even. It's just a matter of time before that's going to happen. Again, I've stated for eons that I'm super bullish on Tesla, and I don't see any reason why Tesla couldn't just keep going up over time. So you can see that EFC is actually no longer here. It would have been basically somewhere in between, I would say probably RIV and OPP, but it's not here. So we move the money out. You guys can see all of the different positions here, quite a few different positions. We plan on maxing these out over time, but not initially as of right now. So basically the dividends for this portfolio as of this week is $377.46. Now I want to go over with you guys the crypto portfolios. So Grayscale Trusts and Fidelity still the same, have not added any capital yet. That's because I'm not entirely sure if Bitcoin's done dumping. It's hard to say at this point. I mean, we're kind of in no man's land with Bitcoin. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But until I'm more sure, I'm just simply not going to add more money. That's just kind of how it's going to go right now. So in terms of Coinbase, there was some positions that were bought this week. So basically, pretty much the gist of what was bought here was AIOZ. As you guys know, we are extremely bullish on AI tokens. Anything AI related, does not matter what it is: stocks, tokens, ETFs, dividend paying stocks, um, whatever. Anything AI, we want to have a hand in that pot. So go over the transactions here with you guys. Okay, so that's from last week. Not going to do that one. So July 10th added $50, as you guys can see here, 117 tokens. And then July 11th, $30.66 tokens. And then July 13th, $35.80 tokens. So why was there a skip on the date there? Well, it's quite simple. So if I go back over here to Bitcoin, got to give it a second to load. So like I told you guys before, the strategy here in terms of swing trading is to wait for a golden cross on the blue and the yellow EMA to actually get long in a position. That's generally speaking just for stocks, not for crypto. However, it can be used also simultaneously as a metric for crypto to kind of see a bullish move coming earlier, right? Or sooner, I should say. So you guys can see that we kind of got above it, then went back down below it, got above it, went back down below it. And at that point, I was kind of like, do I want to be buying right now? It could just dump further. Let me go ahead and wait. So then it got back above it. You can see this candles above these previous candles here. That was kind of a signal to me that, okay, maybe now's the time to buy. So decided to start buying again. But I do want to point this out, okay? So the 4-hour is a front runner to the daily. So you can see we have a golden cross and the price does appear to be moving up on the 4-hour. However, we do not have a golden cross on the daily. The price is still being held below the EMAs, as you guys can see here. So the reason why I'm getting in on the 4-hourly over the daily is because it's sooner in on the move. 4-hourly is the lowest time frame I personally would start with. And then we get the golden cross here. Eventually we get the golden cross on the daily. And then we get the golden cross on the weekly. By the time the weekly golden cross happens, you know, the price could have already moved like $20,000, $30,000 to the upside. So I don't want to be waiting all that time to get in. So that's the reason why I'm using the 4-hour time frame at this point. So let's go over some stock news. So SoundHound AI, we did actually buy $3,000 worth of SoundHound this week. I'm going to tell you guys why. So basically SoundHound, as you guys can see, had a partnership here. I did have an issue with YouTube apparently for leaving these links in the description. So I'm not going to be doing that anymore. But I'll go over this with you guys here anyways. So key takeaways: SoundHound's AI voice artificial software or artificial intelligence technology is being added to more Stellantis-owned vehicle brands in Europe. The company SoundHound AI voice assistant with ChatGPT is live and in production in Peugeot, Opel, and Vauxhall vehicles in 11 markets. I am a big fan of supercars, just so y'all know. So, you know, Peugeot is definitely on one of my top supercar lists. Stellantis DS Automobiles was the first international brand to install SoundHound AI products. So I'm just going to scroll down here and basically read you guys this quote here. So it says the company said that its SoundHound Chat AI voice assistant with integrated ChatGPT is now live in production, and basically what we already went over across 11 European markets. It added that by the end of this month, by the end of July, which I'm presuming that's the month that they're talking about here. Yeah, so it was just posted 2 days ago. So presumably that's by the end of this month. It said the rollout will include 6 more European markets in 12 different languages. So in my mind, that makes a SoundHound a buy. Even more so, I want to go over this as well so you guys can see this was actually last month. It's a little bit older. But basically, it says here that SoundHound AI, a global leader in voice artificial intelligence, today announced that it reached an agreement with its lenders to prepay its outstanding $100 million debt in full. And further down, it says, after paying off the existing debt, SoundHound has a cash balance of about $180 million and no outstanding debt, giving the company ample flexibility and a strong liquidity position. So basically, a month ago, they paid off all their debt, so some $100 million. Then they have another $180 million strapped in cash with no debt, which is a rare position for any company. It doesn't matter what the size is. And then roughly about a month later, they come out and say, oh, yeah, we got this big partnership in Europe. Okay. So the thing that Wall Street is always notorious for is looking for companies that are growing, that produce positive cash flow. In my mind, that's what this is. So with that being said, I'm now going to go ahead and go over, let's see what I can go over right now. So I'll show you guys all the SoundHound stuff in a minute, but basically, so you got 500 shares here, $6.19. We did swing trade this for about $230 in profit, but you can see our average cost basis here is quite high. But again, we're buying this. It's, in my opinion, starting to look more like a long-term play, not so much like a swing trade anymore. So I'll go over that in a minute, but the profits, PLTR, $148.49. We had some covered calls. They got called away for a profit. FEPI, $79.27. QDTE, $31.77. YMEG, $62.35. AIPI, $14.58. In NVIDIA, $14. Yes, we did sell out of NVIDIA. We'll be buying it back at a later point. SoundHound, $224.48. Again, that is the swing trade profits. RIV, $22.97, and EFC, $15.51. So the total amount of profit then comes out to, for the week, $613.42, as you guys can see here. So we got some SoundHound calls. I'm not going to go over all the calls that we did this week, but I'm going to show you guys here. So we got some SoundHound calls at 750. So basically, if the shares get called away at 750, we're going to make like, I don't know exactly what it is, like $750 or $800 or something like that, plus the $75 in premium. Now, we could have actually collected more premium or put these further out in terms of price, but we decided like a median is probably a good point. Again, on the flip side, if SoundHound pulls back, it goes below our cost basis. We're probably just going to add more to the position because, again, it's looking much more bullish long term as an AI play. So in terms of buys this week, XDTE, YMAG, YMAX, NVIDIA, QDTE, FEPI, SoundHound, TSLP, AIPI, MSTY, and Fiat. So we'll get into those in a minute. I'm trying to think of which one of these. So we had dividends paid out from all of the Yield Max ETFs. I can go over that with you guys right now. So OARC, you guys can see $15.99 right there. Let's see here. Next one should be Aptly. Yep, so scrolling down, Aptly, $14.65, as you guys can see right there. Now, the reason why we don't have as much Aptly, in my opinion, is because, I mean, Apple is a pretty big company. It's been the largest company in the world forever, and I think that some of the resources would be better placed elsewhere. Would just kind of produce or accumulate more Apple-related products over time instead of trying to just load the boat immediately. So Coney, $311.75. Again, I do believe Coinbase and MicroStrategy are waiting to get a big rip to the upside because it's waiting for Bitcoin and crypto to move up because, again, these are crypto plays. So GUI, this is Google. As you guys know, Google came out and they're super bullish on AI, so that's always good. So $46.86 in dividends from GUI. And then AMZ, I know this one's really popular among a lot of the community, but we like to stay relatively diversified. We don't want to be too concentrated while the Fed has their rates at all-time highs. So $75.77 for AMZ. Not as good as last month, but hey, I mean, it's better than nothing. It's actually still pretty good. I mean, I don't know of another place that you could put such a small amount of money in and get such a large payout, if I'm being completely honest, outside of these options ETFs. So MRNY, it's down quite a bit. Unfortunately, that kind of sucks. But again, in my mind, Moderna is heavily undervalued. So $48.97, as you guys can see there. Just keep on going down the list here. So I'm trying to think. FEPI and TSLP don't come until later in the month. So we got SQUI, YMAX, YMAG. That's not coming up also until, I believe, next week. So $69.79. Keep on going down the list here. So we have added a lot more to NVIDIA. Just so you guys know, the profits and the capital that we took out of NVIDIA, we did then place immediately into NVIDIA. So you guys can see that the position here has jumped quite a bit. We now have pushing almost 200 shares at this point. So yeah, so you guys can see the capital right there. There's the buy for NVIDIA. So also some additional buys here. So all the way down here, $286.60 from NVIDIA. MSTY, that's another one that we also added some more money to because, again, I do not think that the crypto bull run is actually over. I think we're kind of in a chop phase and or a pullback phase before the end of the year. That has been our stance basically from the beginning because, again, we spent 4 years studying the crypto market in depth, trying to understand everything we need to know about it. So $277.79 from MSTY. TSLY, as you guys know, TSLY is on a rip, but again, it does have a very, very long ways to go to get back to break even, as you guys can see. I don't know what the price is adjusted for stock split, but the average cost that we have is $27.34 here. So either buy more to reduce the cost basis or just simply wait for the price to rise. $29.18 from TSLY. So there's the SoundHound shares, as you guys can see. Basically, the amount that was bought in SoundHound was about 3,000 flat. Let's go over to QDTE. I believe this one also paid a dividend, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, so $33.54. And again, this is a weekly payer, so it pays weekly. So that monthly would actually come out to about $130 a month. So you can see the PLTR shares got called away. We'll be buying 200 shares again on Monday. So we're basically just going to get back into this position at higher prices, write some covered calls, and that's pretty much going to be the end of that. So we got SPYT. So yeah, not doing that one. I believe that Crash did also pay a dividend, even though it's actually an inverse ETF. Yep, so $43.20. Ybit. So I do think that Ybit is pretty undervalued. Again, Bitcoin's still trying to figure out what it's going to do. If it is going to go back up to 75,000 and beyond, I expect Ybit is going to go up massively. I don't know exactly how much, but I do suspect there's a lot of upside here. So $57.49 from Ybit. And I believe that the last one is XDTE. So you can see there's a lot more shares here in XDTE. So now the total is 60. Before, I don't remember what it was before. It might have been like 25 or something. So a lot of capital has been added here. So $5.93 from that one, which again, coming out to a monthly total would be like, I think like $25 a month or something, $25 a month. So let's now go over the buys. So, I'll just go over fiat first, even though it's at the end of the list. So this one's pretty easy. So pretty much just added one share to this one. Why one share? Because we're waiting to see. We're basically just going to hold this position until eventually the bear market does commence with Bitcoin, and then we will pile onto this thing once we're sure that there is actually a major dump coming. But until then, we're just simply going to sit with one share. That's kind of how this is going to go. So XDTE, let's see here. So 3 shares on July 8th, 33 shares on July 11th, 2 shares on July 12th, and that covers XDTE. You can see it's quite a bit of capital. So YMAG total position now is 225 shares. It's almost as much as YMAX, but not quite. So let's see where this is. This is okay, so we got the first one here. So you can see 6.94 shares on July 8th. Had a market sell for a profit here on the 9th, bought back in on the 9th. A percentage, basically like 25% less than what was initially held. Then went back and bought a bunch more shares pretty much. Don't ask me why that happened. It just did. Probably just figured we had some excess capital or something and we could just throw it into that. So another 17.92 shares on July 9th. Another buy on July 10th, 3.44. Another market sell, another market buy, and then another 9.43 shares on the 12th. Now I'm going to go down to YMAX. YMAX hasn't actually performed as well this month as I thought it would, but then again, I feel like it's being kind of pulled back a little bit. The price is because of the recent pullback in crypto. That would be my assumption. So going all the way to the top here, you guys can see that the recent buy was 6.27 shares on July 9th. Okay, so next one is NVIDIA. So yeah, we kind of really went, I almost want to say a little bit overboard with NVIDIA this week, but again, the whole AI narrative is, it's pretty much the wave of the future. I am pretty confident of that. So we want to be as fully behind that as humanly possible. So 3.97 July 9, 5.11 July 9, 5.03 July 10, 1.04 July 12, and almost 45 shares on July 12th again. So going back over here to QDTE. Scroll up a little bit. Okay, so you can see basically we had a sell previously. So I think I got a little ahead of myself here. So a sell previously and then bought back, a reduced position basically. Then added more again. So 4.2 shares on July 10th. And then had another market sell for another profit, another buy, and then added some shares back again the following day. And then added, or basically then just got paid a dividend out after that. And again, we don't like to buy or sell on or just right before the X date because we want to collect both the profit and the dividends to kind of double up, so to speak. So now going over here to FEPI. Okay, so FEPI. There's a lot of stuff going on here. All right, so I'm going to scroll up real quick and so you can see that there was a market sell here, basically took some profit, added a reduced position on the same day. Then basically turn around and did the exact same thing the next day. Again, we do this at a profit, not at a loss. And then bought even more on that same day, another 5 shares on July 9th, as you can see there. So SoundHound already went over this one, but I'm going to go ahead and go over it a second time just so you guys can see it. So initially we were actually going to add 5,000 to this position, not 3,000, but because it's already gone up so much, we want to leave some room for a pullback. So if it pulls back, we can decide to get in on the dip. So SoundHound 500 shares at an average cost basis of $6.19. Okay, so going up here, you can see kind of the swing trades happened here. 444 shares at 450, got out at 469, bought back in at 557, got out at 609. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So got out at 609, got back in at 619 and then went ahead and did some options because, of course, we would like to make as much money as humanly possible in more ways than one. So now going down to AIPI. The goal here with AIPI is actually to get to 100 shares, kind of like FEPI, but this is, of course, going to take time because AIPI is a little bit more expensive of an ETF. So 27 shares, basically market sell here July 10th. Bought back 26 shares, a reduced position, obviously sold these for profit, and then bought another 3 shares 2 days later on AIPI. And again, AIPI in my mind is a big deal because AIPI represents the AI market, which again, in my opinion, is just getting started in terms of growth. So MSTY, this one has actually made a pretty nice recovery, which is definitely nice to see. It's actually a little bit more bullish than Coney, which is, I have to admit, a little bit shocking, but is what it is. So got the dividend here and then added another 2.18 shares here. So in terms of the total payout for the month in just dividends, not profits, on Robinhood is $1,317.51. And also, I almost forgot about Webull. So Webull actually got out of the OARC position, or not OARC, Aptly, and sent that over to Robinhood as well. So you guys can see the dividends here, 2063, 453. Go over here to the portfolio. You guys can see that Aptly is no longer there. So that pretty much covers the Webull platform. $25.16 here. Now, the last thing I want to go over with you guys is the options plays. So SoFi's entry date 7/11/24, covered call. The closing date is going to be 8/9/2024 for $31.05, or $31 times 5 contracts. Sorry. So $155 in total premium for a monthly option. CLSK 7/11 entry covered call 8/9/2024 is the closing date. That's $26 times 2 contracts. And SoundHound 7/12/2024 covered call 7/19 is the closing date, and that's $15 times 5 contracts. Again, we could have gotten more premium, but we want to give the stock a little bit more room to upside for some profits. So options premiums comes out to $282. And the total made this week, $2,615.55. So anyways, this is the buy, sells, and dividends for the week. Hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.